Holy Ghost, Batman, by Amalaran. Chapter 21. A disappointing lunch. For someone. Wayne Manor, the day after Steph's interruption. Then he had a feeling something was different the moment he came down for breakfast. It wasn't the food. Alfred's omelets were still perfect. It wasn't the weather. The spring sunlight was pouring through the tall windows in the same calm, movie scene way as before. It was the fact that 3 adult members of the Wayne family were already in the dining room before he even sat down, each sipping coffee and smiling a little too pleasantly. Steph was there, smiling, like a cat who had not only caught the canary, but also knew where the rest of the flock was hiding. Tim was nursing a coffee, an omelette, and a stack of pancakes sitting in front of him, clearly modified by something. Bruce was happily enjoying his omelette and some turkey bacon, a small smirk twisting up the edge of his lip. Jazz, Sam, Duke, Damien, and Danny soon joined them. After breakfast, Bruce announced that they'd all be given a proper tour of the manor and grounds. They had only been shown the house before. The words were polite. The tone was final. Danny didn't miss the way Steph subtly inserted herself into the group formation, so that he and Sam were never more than arm's length from an adult witness. Alfred led the way at first, pointing out oil paintings, antique clocks, and enough history to fill a semester-long lecture. Danny was oblivious, happily sticking to jazz as Alfred began the grand walkthrough. The East Wing predates the rest of the structure by nearly 40 years, he explained, though the restoration, after the 1924 fire, required extensive masonry reinforcement. Danny trailed behind, with Sam mouthing extensive masonry reinforcement, like she was testing if it was a secret code. Jazz stayed up front, asking Alfred follow-up questions, like she was collecting material for her own book later. When they stepped out onto the back terrace, Jason was suddenly there, leaning on the stone railing like he'd been waiting all morning. He launched into an easy rundown of the garden layout, pointing out where the old trails led towards the woods, even though Jason seemed to be enjoying a private joke every time Danny shifted even slightly towards Sam. Jason's head tilted just enough to remind him, "I see you." Inside, Barbara took over in the library, directing everyone towards the best views of the south lawn. She didn't say much, but she also didn't leave her spot until everyone was headed for the next room. Even Bruce joined in, steering the group towards the conservatory with a perfect timing. "This way, please." Just as Danny thought, he and Sam might be able to hang back. They moved through the formal gardens, over stone bridges, and past hedges trimmed to military precision. Dick met them there, bright and charming as ever. "That path will take you to the stables," he said, then added with a too casual glance at Danny, "But it's a bit of a walk. You two should stick with the group." Sam arched an eyebrow but said nothing. Jazz looked bemused, but pretended she hadn't caught on. The back gardens rolled on in neat patterns of hedges, stone paths, and fountains that looked like they'd been stolen from a European palace. Jason had taken over from Alfred by then, leaning casually against a stone railing as he pointed towards the far tree line. "That's where the old riding trails start. They loop around the north property line. If you ever want to get into Bloodhaven without hitting the highway, there's a back road that cuts halfway there." Sam raised an eyebrow. "You just keep an entire road hidden back there?" Jason grinned. "Hidden's relative. A lot of the back property touches on old farm roads, used by long-time neighboring properties that go to municipal roads." Then he elbowed Danny, whispering, "That sounds cool." They didn't get far before Barbara rolled out from a side path, smiling like she just happened to be there. She pointed out the greenhouse, the orchard, and the smaller guest house near the stables. If you're thinking of day trips, Metropolis is only a couple of hours by train. I know a few museums there that are worth the trip. Jazz, still in tourist mode, was scrambling notes about every piece of architecture, completely ignoring the silent chess match happening around her. Then he just thought it was funny that there were so many grown-ups joining in for no reason. Back inside, Dick took over the tour again. His style was less historical and more personal stories sparkled in. He pointed at a curved staircase. If you lean over that banister, you can see all the way down into the foyer. Not that you should. It's a long drop. Every so often his eyes flicked to Danny and Sam. Not accusing, just there. In another library, Cassandra was waiting, seated in an armchair, with a book closed neatly on her lap. She said almost nothing, just offered a nod of greeting and gestured towards the view from the tall windows. South lawn. You can see the pond. Then he noticed she stayed exactly the same number of steps behind them until he left the room. By mid-afternoon, the truth was undeniable. Every single guide traded off just often enough to keep Danny and Sam from ever ending up alone. Barbara happened to roll into the music room just as Sam started asking about the old piano. Jason took over in the trophy hall with an elaborate story about a totally real suit of armor. Duke appeared during the greenhouse stop, immediately suggesting everyone stick together because you never know when a raccoon might get in here. He shared a look with the other teens. That was at least half an apology. Steph, of course, was there for nearly all of it, radiating the same smug, responsible adult on patrol energy she'd had the night before. They ended in the east sitting room, with tea and pastries, all adults present and accounted for. Jazz was comparing notes with Alfred, but then he was recounting the stable story to anyone who'd listen. Sam leaned closer to Danny and muttered, "We're not shaking them all day, are we?" Then he sighed. Not until they decide we're incapable of being unsupervised. Steph across the room caught his eye, and, without missing a beat, did the "I'm watching you" gesture again before turning back to her tea. Sam slumped back in her seat. "I take it back. Your family in Amity Park isn't the noisiest Isle of Met." Her gaze caught Jazz's. The older girl's lips twitched up, but she chose not to engage. And he groaned. "Yeah, these people are professional ninjas or something." The next morning dawned clear, Gotham's skyline sharp in the distance as the manor car pulled away from Wayne grounds. Alfred hadn't come along. Instead, a quiet, uniformed driver handled the wheel. Professional, impassive, impossible to read. Then he had thought maybe, just maybe, this would finally be their chance. A trip into Gotham, a little breathing room away from the endless parade of coincidental bad family supervision. Sam was already scrolling through her phone, scrolling through reviews of vegan cafes. Okay, there's this place, Trillium. Great menu, lots of plant-based options, good ethical sourcing. It's perfect. Danny wedged happily beside Jazz in the middle row, wrinkled her nose. Perfect for fungus lovers, pass. It's not all mushrooms, Sam said flatly. Still gross. Pizza. Danny could feel the headache forming. He leaned forward. Jazz, maybe you and Danny could grab lunch somewhere else? That way Sam and I could finally have a proper date? Sam supplied, leaning in hopefully. Jazz glanced up from her notebook. With the serene calm of someone who knew she had power and had no intention of using it responsibly. Separate lunches? Tempting. But no, I think we should all stick together. Then he blinked. Why? Jazz smiled. because it's funnier this way. Sam groaned. You're enjoying this? Immensely. Jas admitted. Usually, I'm the one worrying about you two, sneaking off, making reckless choices, watching other people trip over themselves. To keep you inside? That's refreshing. Liberating, even. More like cruel. Danny muttered. Then he piped up, swinging her legs. I'm good with spaghetti, or pizza, or anything that's not weed pretending to be food. Sam leveled her with a look. It's called vegetables. It's called boring. The driver, who had been silent the entire trip, cleared his throat. The Trillium does serve traditional fare alongside vegan options. A compromise might be possible. Sam brightened. See? Danny eyed the driver with suspicion. Compromise usually means I lose. Then he rubbed his temples. Okay, so Jas won't let us split off. Sam wants vegan. Danny wants pizza. And apparently I'm supposed to referee this cage match with marinara sauce. Jas smirked. Accurate. By the time they pulled up to the Trillium Cafe, the truce was hanging by a thread. Inside, Sam ordered a lentil soup and vegan schnitzel with brisk precision. Then he picked a grain bowl that looked hearty enough to keep him from starving, but still passed Sam's approval. Danny predictably demanded the plainest spaghetti known to mankind. It should have been fine. It could have been fine, until the door opened. Funny running into you here. Dick Grayson, sunglasses perched in his hair, casual jacket, smile pitched at the perfect angle between friendly and interrogative. Jason strolled in behind him, like he owned the place, already flagging down the waiter. Then he dropped his head onto the table. No way! Sam glared up at the ceiling. You'll have got to be kidding me! Jas sipped her water, utterly unbothered. I told you, Danny. Supervision is universal. You should be thanking me. I saved you the trouble of sneaking around. Danny twirled spaghetti around her fork, grinning. This is the best lunch ever. Danny groaned. For you, maybe. Sam muttered under her breath. I take it back. Empty pockets tame compared to this. And from the doorway, Jason raised his glass in mock salute. Don't mind us. Just here to supervise. For a brief, shining moment, Danny thought maybe Dick and Jason were just passing through. That hope died when Dick slid into the booth across from Jas, like he belonged there, and Jason dragged a chair over to wedge himself between Danny and Sam. Don't mind us, Jason said, cheerfully, waving over a waiter. We will keep it casual, real, low profile, totally invisible. Sam gave him a look that could have peeled paint. You'll have never been invisible in your life. Jason grinned. And yet, somehow, I'm everyone's favorite babysitter. Danny groaned. This was supposed to be a date. Still can be, Dick offered. All fake innocence. Just a group date. Before Sam could respond, the bistro door opened again, and conversation in the room shifted like someone had changed the channel. Harley Quinn waltzed in, bright as ever, trailing a slightly wary but indulgent Pamela Isley. The staff barely blinked. Apparently this was routine. Oh hey, Red, look! Harley clapped her hands together. It's the Acro Brats. And your green gal, pal. Danny sank lower in his seat. Of course. Pamela gave the table a measuring glance. They're in our booth. Jason raised his glass. Sorry, Red. We called it first. But you can join. Make it a party. Harley slid right in without hesitation, planting herself beside Sam. The main course had just arrived. Steaming bowls, plates, and Harley loudly proclaimed that vegan schnitzel was way better than it had any right to be. When the next intrusion walked through the door, the grain bowl, spaghetti, and schnitzels had only just settled in front of them, when the air shifted again. Then he didn't even look up this time. Excuse me. Yes, hi. Gotham Gazette. The cafe seemed to groan as one. Jason muttered something anatomically impossible into his napkin. Dick turned. Polite smile already plastered into place. The voice was bright, sharp, hungry. A young man in a pressed shirt and lanyard badge strode into the cafe, notebook already in hand. He hadn't been invited, and yet he zeroed in, like a shark scenting blood. Richard Grayson! Jason Todd! What a surprise! Dick's jaw tensed just enough to be visible, before he smoothed it into a smile. Jason didn't bother hiding his growl. Off the record, Jason said flatly, spearing out a fork of lentils, just to spite Sam. Lunch is not a press conference. The reporter either didn't hear or pretended not to. Tell me, how does it feel to grow up with the world's most famous billionaire as a father? Do you think Gotham would look different today if Bruce Wayne had not your business? They cut in smoothly. And not over food. Jason leaned back in his chair, eyes narrowing. You want a quote? Here's your quote. My lunch is cold. The reporter flushed, but recovered fast, flipping a page. Fair enough. Then maybe you will explain what message you're sending by dining openly with. His eyes started landing on the newcomers at the table, known criminals. Harley, mid-slurp of Sam's schnitzel, froze. Excuse me? She squeaked, crumbs dotting her lipstick. Pamela's glare could have wilted steel. We're customers. Citizens, Harley corrected, waving her fork. We got rights, same as anybody. You ever heard of a girl sitting down to lunch being a crime? The reporter backpedaled, scribbling notes furiously. But the optics, Gotham's most prominent heirs dining with reformed felons? It's bound to raise questions. Then question us, Jason snapped, leaning forward. Not them. He jabbed a thumb towards Danny, who was happily swinging her legs under the table. And definitely not the kids. Danny felt Jazz stiffen beside him. Sam's eyes flashed, already bristling. The reporter's eyes flicked, caught, and brightened. Well. Samantha Manson, of the Manson family. I thought I recognized you. Your parents hosted the Gotham Cosmological gala 2 years ago, didn't they? And there was that charity auction for the Opera House. Sam froze mid-sip of water, the glass halting just shy of her lips. Her posture went stiff, the telltale steel sliding into her spine. I wasn't there for them, she said, coolly. And I'm not here for them now. The reporter laughed, pen posed over his notebook. Of course. But the daughter of Amity Park's premier philanthropist, rubbing shoulders with the Wayne hairs? Dining openly with, she paused, eyes narrowing towards Holly and Ivy, with notorious figures from Gotham's underworld. It's an interesting story. Jason set his fork down with a clatter. Here's a better story. Reporter gets thrown out of a restaurant for arresting minors. Minors? The reporter blinked, then made the fatal mistake of looking at Danny, who sat grinning, spaghetti sauce onto her chin. His pen twitched. Stop. Dick's tone carried the weight of command. Voice cut sharp and final, his easy smile gone. You don't get to point your questions at them. Not today, not ever. You keep it on us, or you leave. Jason smirked darkly. And believe me, you will want to leave before I stop being polite. The cafe had gone quiet. Even Holly had set down her fork, eyes darting between the brothers like she was watching her favorite soap opera. Ivy, arms folded, looked one heartbeat away from throwing the reporter out herself, literally. The reporter cleared his throat, trying to salvage his dignity. Of course, no intrusion intended, just curious about appearances, that's all. Jason's smile could have cut glass. Then here's your appearance. 2 brothers, eating lentils against their will, being harassed during lunch. Write it up however you want. Danny hadn't realized he was holding his breath until the reporter stammered. I see. Very well. Thank you for your time. And retreated towards the door. The coffee's hum returned slowly. Holly clapped her hands once, delighted. Oh, that was better than daytime TV. You two should go on tour. Jason muttered something under his breath about reporters and compost heaps. The silence that followed was thick, until Holly crackled and slapped the table. Oh my God, Sammykins, you got groupies! Sam pinched the bridge of her nose. That's not funny. Danny, hiding his smirk behind his hand, muttered, I'm right here. Sam grinned at him, but elbowed him under the table. Jason groaned at the public display of affection. Danny slurped another spaghetti noodle with unholy delight. Dick rubbed his temple, finally reaching for his coffee again. Sorry about that. Everyone, occupational hazard. Sam's expression softened, but only slightly. Thanks for shutting him down. Any time, Dick said, simply. It's a job to protect the family, all of it. Then he glanced at Danny, who was once again twirling spaghetti like nothing had happened, sauce dotting her cheek. His chest loosened a little. Maybe not the date he'd imagined, but at least some things still counted as wins. Holly looked around the table curiously, and turned to Sam. So what you eating, sugar? Sam blinked, startled by the sudden friendliness. Lentil soup and schnitzel, vegan schnitzel. Oh, Holly cooed. Me too. Well, I usually just share whatever Pommy orders. But you're speaking my language, doll, Jason snorted. Language of misery. No real meat, no real cheese, just suffering dressed up as parsley. Sam stiffened, her eyes flashing. It's about not causing suffering, actually. Savar barley hayam. Jason frowned. What? It's Hebrew, Sam said firmly. It means the suffering of living creatures. Judaism teaches compassion towards animals, and while I'm not perfect, veganism is my way of practicing that. There was a beat of silence. Jason pondered on that, as if a thought occurred to him, something he hadn't considered before. Then Holly slapped the table. See, Red? That's what my Bobby used to say. She'd make matzo ball soup and tell me all about not hunting critters. 'Cause they're God's little gifts, too. I ain't Jewish myself, but Bobby was, and I tell ya, that stuck. Amelia gave Holly a look, equal parts fond and exasperated. Holly, you went vegan for me. Well, yeah, Puddin', Holly said brightly. But also 'cause you're right about the planet. And my Bubby was right about animals. 2 for 1, you know? Sam blinked, then allowed herself a small, surprised smile. That's actually really sweet. Jason groaned and dropped his head into his hands. Great, now we're quoting scripture at lunch. Next thing, someone's gonna start singing hymns to Kale. Holly ignored him and got the waiter's attention, and the villainous couple put in their own orders. Danny, who was again twirling his spaghetti with mounting glee, leaned across Jason to stage whisper, This is so much better than pizza. Danny shot her a look. You're enjoying this way too much. Obviously, Danny said, slipping a noodle with a grin. Jazz, for her part, simply scribbled another note in her little book. Group dynamics under ideological pressure. She muttered, Fascinating. Dick smiled like this was the most natural day in the world. Well, at least it's not boring. Danny buried his face in his hands. Kill me now. Sorry, kiddo, Jason said, clapping him on the back. No one dies over lentils. Jason had just finished muttering about lentils when Holly leaned across the table, chin propped on her palm, eyes glinting with mischief. You know what, big guy? She said sweetly. You look like a steak and whiskey type. All bark, no salad. Jason smirked. You got me pegged. Medium rare, baked potato, extra butter. None of this grass-fed kale leaf nonsense. Holly gasped theatrically and turned to Pamela. Red, did you hear that? He puts butter on potatoes. It's like double homicide. Pamela arched an eyebrow, sipping her green tea. He looks like the type. Sam leaned forward, seizing the opening. Exactly. That's what industrial farming relies on. People refusing to think about where their food comes from. Preach! Holly chirped, pointing finger guns at Sam. Jason groaned. Oh, great. Now I've got the eco-goddess and Harley Quinn talk-tagging me about my diet. What's next? Guilt-tripping about cow farts killing the ozone. Pamela set her cup down with calm precision. And methane emissions are in fact a significant contributor to climate change. Ha! Sam jabbed a finger across the table. Told you. Then he buried his face in his hands. His romantic lunch had mutated into an academic debate, moderated by villains and ex-villains. Danny, meanwhile, had taken full advantage. She slipped spaghetti noodles, like she was conducting a symphony of chaos. When Jason leaned away from Ivy's glare, she deliberately flicked a strand so Mariana dotted his jacket. Oops, Danny said, completely unapologetic. Jason glared. Kid. Collateral damage, Danny declared, twirling out a fork, with a wicked grin. Jazz didn't even bother to hide her amusement. Red, Holly said, nudging Pamela. You should tell em about the rooftop garden we planted in Brooklyn. Best cherry tomatoes I ever had. Tiny little jewels. Even Betsy wouldn't complain. Pamela gave a small smile. It's true. It's true. Sustainable urban agriculture is an effective way to... Jason groaned loudly, throwing up his hands. I swear to God, if anyone here says the word compost, Holly said instantly, grinning like a cat. Sam snorted into her little soup, nearly choking from suppressed laughter. Even Ivy's lips twitched at that one. Then he's sitting between his crackling girlfriend, his spaghetti-smearing clone sister, and half the Wayne family sons, slumped back against the booth. This was supposed to be a date, he muttered. Dick, who had been quietly nursing a cup of coffee like the world's most patient referee, chuckled. Gee up, Danny. Dates are supposed to be memorable. Yeah, Danny grumbled. Just not like this. Steph's text buzzed on Danny's phone under the table. He glanced at it, then frowned. Steph, told you I'm watching. Danny groaned into his hands again. He wouldn't tell her he was rethinking this whole arrangement. That would be cruel. But the thought crossed his mind. The chaos of lunch eventually slowed. Jason sulked. Harley doodled hearts on napkins. And Ivy debated ecosystem ethics with Sam as if they were old colleagues. Danny happily finished her spaghetti, humming under her breath. When the waiter circled back to tempt them with desserts, Danny's eyes locked onto the triple chocolate brownie. That one! Gimme that! Danny leaned in, scanning the fine print. His brow furrowed. Danny, no. That's made with portobello. Pure. They used it to make it dense and moist, without eggs. Danny froze, fork halfway to her mouth. Mushrooms? Yeah, Danny said firmly. And you know they don't sit right with you. Not just taste, it's intolerance. Remember how sick you got last time? She blinked at him, then rubbed the menu like it was radioactive. Good catch, Danny. Thanks. No fuss, no fight. Just quiet relief. Sam tilted her head, thoughtful, watching Danny push the menu away without regret. The ride back was quieter. The Bat family peeled off in their own car, leaving only Jazz, Danny dozing against Jazz's shoulder, the silent driver, and Danny and Sam in the back. Danny had been restless since the engine turned over. Finally, he pressed his palm against the side panel. A soft crackle of ectostatic passed through the speakers, sharp enough to make Jazz twitch and Danny stir before settling again. Then silence. The driver frowned in the mirror, but said nothing. Sam leaned in, voice low. "You killed the sound system?" And he smirked. "Yeah, no more eavesdropping. I'm pretty sure he's the one who called in the Uncle Squad." Jazz sighed, but didn't protest. Sam shifted closer, her voice almost a whisper. "So what's really bothering you?" Then he glanced at Danny, out cold now, then back at Sam. "It's the cosmology stuff." Danny hesitated, glancing at Danny, who was already nodding off against Jazz's shoulder. Quietly, he said, "It's about us, half our stuff. The black and the gray." Sam frowned. "Life and death forces?" "Yeah," Danny said, voice low. "The black, the root, death, and decay, and the gray." Sam frowned. "The gray, as in, like the green," Danny said, "but not plants, fungus, mycelium. The gray breaks down dead tissue directly. It doesn't wait for it to rot like the green does. It consumes." He lowered his voice even more. "And that puts it at odds with both the black and the green, and with half us, like me and Danny, because we are walking contradictions, alive and dead, at the same time. The gray doesn't know what to do with us, so it pushes back." Sam's brow knitted, something clicking into place. "That explains a lot. I've been noticing mushrooms don't sit right with me lately. At first I thought it was just taste, but it's more than that. Like my body rejects them. I didn't connect it to the green or the black." Then he nodded grimly. "Both touch you. Now, the gray doesn't like that. It wants to strip away the middle ground. It wants things dead, feeding it directly, and we don't fit that neat box." Sam sat back, quiet for a long moment. "So intolerance isn't just Danny's problem, it's mine too?" Then he reached over, lacing his fingers with hers. "It's ours. We will figure it out." Sam squeezed his hand, her expression softening. "Together. Maybe Operation Lunch Date didn't go as bad as Danny thought." Jason found Bruce in the Batcave, hunched over the glow of the Bat computer as usual. For once, Jason slowed his step, watching the way Bruce's face softened, just slightly, when he realized who had come down. "What brings you down here, J-Lad? You're not on patrol tonight." Jason kicked the chair around and flopped into it, boots hitting the console desk with a thud. The flicker of disapproval in Bruce's eyes was automatic, almost comical in how practiced it was. Jason smirked anyway. "Just figured I should warn you. We will probably be in the papers tomorrow, old man." Bruce didn't even blink. Anytime Dick or Jason so much as sneezed in public, half the tabloids ran with it. "Anything I should be concerned about?" Jason leaned back, arms folded. "Reporter crashed lunch." We didn't exactly roll out the red carpet for him. Kid sniffed out Danny's girlfriend, Manson, in about 5 seconds flat, so he'll probably have thoughts. Bruce's expression tightened. That would be a problem. Too much scrutiny before custody was settled could complicate things for Danny, and that was the last thing they needed. "I'll monitor it. Anything else?" Jason hesitated, thrumming fingers against his arm. He hated this part, talking. "Yeah, Sam. She said something at lunch about her vegan thing. Said it was tied to her faith, suffering of living creatures, or whatever." Bruce's brow furrowed, then softened as he nodded. Savar Bali Hayam, the principle of minimizing animal suffering, in Jewish law, is tied to humane slaughter, to the kashrut. Some take it further, like Miss Manson. Not surprising, considering her convictions. Jason stared at him for a long moment, then looked away. "So, That's why you're always on my ass about killing? 'Cause of religion? That one caught Bruce off guard. He sat back, searching Jason's face, but Jason wasn't looking at him. That's not that simple. But yes, it does cross my mind. He paused, then said quietly, "Do you know the sixth commandment in Hebrew isn't 'Thou shalt not kill'? It's Lotitacha. Do not murder. It allows for self-defense, for war, for the execution of criminals, but..." Jason snorted, still not looking at him. "Yeah, and guess which one I line up with?" Bruce's voice grew firmer. "Jason, execution isn't a personal verdict. It requires a trial, a conviction, a ruling handed down by governing authority. You can't skip the paperwork," Jason said bitterly. "So that's the hang-up. Chain of command. It's justice," Bruce said sharply, then softer. "Without it, all you have is vengeance, and you deserve more than to live in that place forever." Jason's hands clenched on the armrest. For a long moment, he didn't move, didn't speak. Then he pushed himself up, pacing a few steps away, his back to Bruce. Weird. It almost sounds better hearing it spelled out like that. Like it's not just your personal crusade against me. Bruce flinched at that, though Jason didn't see it. He swallowed, voice rougher than he meant. "Jay lad, I don't say things well. You know that. But I never saw it as a personal failure in you. Not like that. I'm not anyone's judge. God knows. I'm not even a good Jew. But all of you made me better than I would have been alone. You made me a better person. I can't stop wanting to return the favor." Jason stood there for a beat longer, shoulders stiff. Then he nodded once, crud, without turning. "Yeah, I hear you." And just like that, he walked off, footsteps fading towards the lift. Bruce sat there, staring at the space Jason had left behind, before finally letting out a long breath. He turned back to the bed computer, eyes on the glowing case files, but his mind was still on a conversation he hadn't quite managed to finish. And that was the chapter! I hope you liked it. If you did, leave a like and subscribe and share the video. This one was fun to read. Not gonna lie, this one was fun to read. Even though there are some mistakes, which are most likely always in those recordings. But hey, you can commission me. You can commission podfics from me. Like, it's a podfic is a like you have fan fiction and I read them for people, so that's basically a podfic yeah. And you can commission me them from me, info so that are on the screen or in the channel description. And if you do decide to commission me, then you can get early access to my Discord server, which I do my recordings live there. So, by the way, just a random fun fact from my side. At 17:06 in the video, I got so confused because I also do the series with Hunting Nemesis, and optics are most often they are described as eyes. So that's just some random ass little confusion bit from my side. Also, I bring to you more recording highlights. This is a long fucking video and I made so many goddamn mistakes because of that. So, most of the rest of this video is just recording highlights. Who had not caught the canary? Is it canary? I'm checking. Okay, let's do this. Canary. Who had offered... No. Danny didn't miss the way Steph Subtly. Subtly. It's subtly. Is it subtly or subtly?
Subtly.
So it is subtle. Okay. Another. From an. And enough history to fill the semester. The East Wing. Okay. Though the rest. Through the rest. Though the. After the 1924. This is so difficult. I was too excited. Required extensive menace. It's not a menace, no. Masonry reinforcement. Required extensive oh, not again. Mouthing. Extensive mensory enforcement. Jazz. Asking Alfred for. Why am I laughing? Help. He laughed into an uneasy rundown. Huh? No. Steering the group towards the conservatory, leading with perfect timed. I'm gonna keep the previous one. That go to what roads? Municipal roads. What fuck?
Municipal.
Every single guide traded off just often enough to keep Danny. What? It is traded with the scenery calm of someone. Oh. Is it scenery? I think it's scenery. I'm checking again.
Serene.
Okay. The Trillium. Danny eyed the driver with Danny eyed the and apparently I'm supposed to referee this and apparently I'm supposed to referee this with Marina. By the time they pulled up to the Trillium, inside Sam ordered lentil. Okay. Inside, Sam ordered lentil soup and vegan schnitzel. I don't know why I'm laughing. Sam ordered lentil. Okay, I got this. Okay. Inside, Sam ordered lentil soup and vegan schnitzel. Schnitzel. Why the fuck did I get that wrong? It's like a word from my fucking country. Then he picked an interrogation Jason strolled, and from the doorway, Jason raised his glass. Sorry, Gotham Gretzel. Gretzel? Not Gretel. I wish I was eating something and the sound would have made sense.
Gazette.
Okay. Jason muttered something automatically. No. automatically. It is written wrong. I think it's written wrong. Jason muttered something automatically impossible into. Okay, I have no clue. Is that actually a word, or am I just seeing a mistake?
Anatomically.
Anatomically, not anatomically. And layered bandages. No, and lanyard. Lanyard.
Lanyard.
Lanyard. Like a shark scenting. Like a shark it is scenting. Smearing on a fork of lentils. No. Lentils. Spearing. With the world's unknown criminals. Crumbs dotting her lips. Citizens, Holly corrected, waving her fork. We got rights, same as anybody. You ever heard of a girl sitting down? Danny felt jazz shift. Zoological. Premier philosophist. Philanthropist. I don't know. I'm translator. Philanthropists. Okay. You got groupies? No, not Jason. Occupational? I'm gonna check it. Occupational! Occupational! Okay. Sam's expression shot to back. Harley looked around. And turned to Chaz. And I don't know how to say that. And it's not even English, I think. So I'm gonna go to the translator. No, I did something wrong.
Sar Barley Hyam.
Sar Barley Hyam.
Savar Barley Hyam.
Savar Barley Hyam.
Savar Barley Hyam.
Savar Barley Hyam. I'm gonna keep it like that. Great. Judaism. I'm just, you know.
Judaism.
Judaism. This is hard. Oops. Okay. Hymas to okay. No, that's the wrong window.
Hymns.
Okay. Ideological. Jason had just finished theoretical. Holly gasped. Theoretical. Preach. Beach? I don't know.
Preach.
It is preach. Now I've got the eco gun killing these ozone. Is it ozone? I don't.
Ozone.
Another word. There are so many goddamn words. But I mean, it's kind of normal because it's a fan fiction, so. Conducting. Mariana dotted. She deliberately flicked a strand so Mariana dotted his. Nara. Marianara. Chastity sorry. Sustainable urban architecture. No. Agriculture. Sustainable urban Even Ivy's lips twitched at that Then he's sitting sorry. Holly doodled. Is it doodled? I'm getting messages and I'm ignoring them.
Doodled.
It is doodled. Because we are walking contradictions. It wants to stir away. No, almost comedic. Jason's. Bruce is definitely Jason. No. Custom. Is this custody? No. Custody.
Custody.
It is custody. It is custody. Too much scrutiny before custody. And there's this thing again that I don't know how to say. Yay! I'm not happy.
Sar Bale Hyam.
Sar Barley Hyam.
Sar Bale Hyam.
Savar Barley Hyam. It's oh god damn it. Da.
Lo Tirtsacha.
Lotir Sacha.
Lotirchach.
No. Need to go back to English. You know what? I'm gonna try to do it like this again. Is it? Oh, it's just fucking. Where is he? Ah, there. Found it. Okay. No, what was it again?
Lo Tirtsacha.
Lotir Sacha. It's Lotir Chat. It's Lotir Chat. It's low. Low I'm gonna hear it again.
Lo Tirtsacha.
Lotir Sacha. It's Lotir Chat. It's Lotir Tat. I think that's it. I'm gonna keep it that way because otherwise. Okay. I'm not even a good judge. God knows I'm not even good. God knows I'm not even. God knows I'm not even good. Eyes on the glow case files. Anyways, that's it for me. Have a nice rest of your time. And see you next time.